Hi, this is Paul Palmer, and
Natasha Todorovic Cowan. How are you doing today, Paul?
I'm good, Natasha. I'm doing good. I'm just I'm laughing at the picture we've got behind us, to be honest, because it's reminding me of a manager that I knew, and he was the leader of his team, and the way that he led his team was by standing a bit closer than this guy. Actually, he was standing like this far in front of people. Oh, there you go. This far in front of people's faces and shouting at them
Wow.
to get them to do what he wanted them to do. And then he wondered why they did it wrong. Because I think they were so oppressed rather than led, that they were too busy being submissive to actually listen to what he needed.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks really just don't know the impact that they're having on folks around them. And they don't have the behavioral flexibility or the insights to really know how to get the best out of each team member. And I remember some work that I was doing. The executive team had me working with their leadership team, their managerial team, and I discovered the managerial team was planning a coup. They wanted to get their leaders out, and they believed that they were fully competent to take over. And that the numbers actually say that 70% of employees would rather see their bosses fired than get a raise. And that says something about leadership and the relationship systems organizationally today.
So they'd rather fire the boss than have a raise themselves.
Because your entire world, when you go to work, is the quality of it is related to the way the manager manages and the way the leader leads and the way your peers relate to you. You have a toxic manager, it's going to go downhill. You have a toxic leader, it's going to go downhill. As a matter of fact, you have one toxic person on a team, and very often it's hard to figure out which is which, but that team performance deteriorates.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be, can I mention it, Paul?
Yes, go ahead.
So I'm going to be talking about this on our leadership summit. And I'm going to be talking about the different toxic things that you might be doing that you don't know you're doing that causes your workforce to actually want to see you fired.
Yeah, and that's next week. I think your talk's on the 22nd, isn't it? On the top leadership. Yeah, it's on Thursday.
Yeah, I think it's Thursday. Yeah, that makes sense.
So for anybody that's interested, the leadership summit is running next week. It's actually, when I post this, it's going to be this week. So it's running on Wednesday to Friday. That's the 21st to the 23rd of April. And I'll be going on as one of the first speakers on the Wednesday. Natasha's on, I think you're on every day. It's your summit, so it makes sense that you'd be on every day.
Yeah, I'm doing the interviews and I'm hosting.
Yeah.
And, there'll be a few presenters as well. But no, I am super excited.
A few presenters, 30 presenters or something, isn't it?
We're coming on 3 dozen presenters, 3 12-hour days. I'm so excited because I love talking to people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good fun. It's interesting. I like it too. That's one of the reasons that I like doing the two-way sessions rather than just speaking on my own. But I want to come back to what you were saying about the toxic leaders and what can happen, because maybe people might understand what they mean and they might not. So toxic leadership for me is destructive. The same as toxic participants when they go behind somebody's back and they start talking about them rather than to them. And a toxic leader, for me, is somebody really, a lot of the time, that doesn't appreciate the team.
Well, there's this spectrum of toxicity, right? And on one end, we've literally got psychopathology. right? And on the other end, we've got behaviors. And when they're behaviors that once we become aware of them, we can course correct. Psychopathology requires drugs,
Yeah.
right? But on the behavioral side, it just requires awareness and adjustment and a little bit of skill and a little bit of work and insight. So it's changeable. And that's the good news.
But how would people recognize that they've got the toxic leadership culture within the organization that they're in, whether it's themselves or somebody else?
That's what I'm going to talk about.
Hey, yeah, we've got to come to the summit next week. Okay, I get it.
Join us.
Okay, yeah.
Because if you don't, you might have employees doing this.
Yeah.
Away.
I much prefer your impression of that than my version. I like yours better. Although I don't quite fancy being that lady in that picture that we've got behind me. I would not want to be.
I mean, that is literally what the other person might be experiencing. And on the inside, as a leader, you're thinking, okay, how do I get through to this person? How do I just get them to do this thing or understand this thing? And they're experiencing exactly the way that woman behind you is. It's like, ah!
I'm in shock.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's going to be it for today. So that's Paul Palmer and
it's Todorovic Cowan. Excited to have you join us on the Leadership Summit. Come on, water's great. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to drop the link in the bottom underneath in the comments.
You're awesome. Thanks, Paul.
Sorry?
I said you're awesome. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome. Okay, everybody. I'll talk to you again soon.